Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the JJ Unplugged episode number 4. I'm Jake.
And I'm Jenny.
And today we're going to be talking about...
You.
pretending.
Welcome to the JJ Unplugged show.
Pretending, yeah. The theme of, I suppose, we have a lot of unplugged energy here and masks off, so I suppose it's a nice topic to lean into today.
We do. First of all, I do want to address the elephant in the room. I've put on some weight. No, I'm kidding.
I feel like it's the reverse, to be honest. Sponsored by Vyvanse.
We're not medical experts. Elephant in the room is that last episode number 3, was slightly chaotic, if you noticed. That's because we thought we're better than agendas and planning and having some sort of a guideline, but we are back.
And we're prepared.
We are, let's not go that far. We are more or less ready.
Yeah. Ready to take on new topics, new conversations.
Before we talk about pretending, what's new?
I don't know. What is new?
We have a little setup. Let's see how that goes. We have a little, hopefully, closer to the mouth microphone setup.
I feel like Joe Rogan. Only I don't have someone in the background typing things into Google when I throw them out. Like, check that up.
We'll get there. That's what I did. Remember in the very first episode when we were talking, or was it the second one when we were talking about chocolates?
Oh yeah, and you Googled it.
You know,
we were like reveled. Yeah.
The computer is available. I love your star because you are a star.
Oh my god! Sponsored by Acne. I love being a woman. I love it. I love it so much.
Everyone's sponsoring us. If you haven't noticed, we also have a website launched, jjunplugged.com.
We have socials.
And we're going to start to probably drench them with some snippets of clips from our previous episodes.
Okay.
And we'll see how that goes.
Even the bloopers or the weird edited picture video things that you've created. Yeah.
I don't even have those. But, I remember where you were like... 100,000 Jennifers on screen from all different angles.
Yeah, I love that for me.
But, well, it's the fun in the little things.
Yeah, it is. But let's lean in to our topic of the day, pretending. So, I suppose we'll take today, for instance, or if not today, this week. What was the last thing you feel like you pretended about?
Just now, pretending like I am not extremely uncomfortable knowing that I will have to talk about myself. But like, what else? What else did I pretend? Pretending every single hour of the day today and yesterday at work that I am absolutely fine. Nothing hurts, even though I've had the worst headache of all time for like the last 2.5 days. But pretending, because who needs to know what you're actually going through unless they're the closest person in the world to you? Or I've heard that maybe sometimes you tell these things to your therapist, but
my therapist is probably sick of me at this stage, but she's very direct and we love her for that. We love it. Therapy on. Yeah, I suppose. So we've picked this topic for a reason, pretending. We've picked it in the sense to lean in, I suppose, for the month that it is as well, LGBTQ plus, woo! And to talk about coming out, I guess, and what that was like for you when you lived in your hometown, Riga, Latvia, what that was like, and I suppose survival around pretending during that time when you would have known, wow, I definitely don't feel I fancy that girl. What was that like? Want to talk about it?
The Rainbow Alphabet Month. How was it growing up? Honestly, I feel like I've kind of blocked out a lot of things, even though I say it, but I remember everything, only because my memory won't let me down unless it's something important that I need to remember. I will not remember, but after a year I will remember it, as it should be. Anyway, my camera's doing this weird zoomy thing, so enjoy that now. Growing up, well, where do I even start? I think the biggest, kind of most impactful time in my coming out era was, I think I was in grade 11.
Okay.
So that would be, I don't even know what year that is. Years in Ireland are different in school.
You could, like, it could be, would it be primary school or secondary?
Second year in secondary school.
Ah, okay.
So,
So 14, 15?
16?
Okay.
Yeah, so you finish school at 17, nearly 18. So, yeah, I'd say 16, and I started 1 year earlier as well. It kind of skipped first grade.
He was really smart.
I had to do these tests. So my mom was a music teacher in my school, and then I was kind of going with her for like the first year, and sometimes I spent time in the library with the librarian, but she was also
What age were you?
6.
Why is this giving me Matilda energy?
Well, double chocolate, triple chocolate cake.
You know the way she went in with the wheelbarrow reading all the books in the library? I can just visualize this for you.
I didn't though. I liked looking at books.
Okay.
Reading is so boring. Cannot. And I'm so sorry. I read a lot of blog posts and a lot of articles, but sitting down and reading a book, instantly sleep. Instant. Just cannot. Also, you know when you have that thing, probably called dyslexia, where you have to reread the same sentence multiple times because you forgot what you were reading about, or you just looked at letters and they just don't make sense.
They just blur into the page.
Yeah. So, you know, that's that. But back to school. I was going to school, not really to classes. And then this librarian, I believe she was also not a therapist, but what are they? Counselors?
Like a guidance counselor?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So when I was applying to go to my school, I had to do some IQ tests or logic tests, and basically, supposedly, don't know how true that is, I aced them, and that's why they said, well, nope, you're not gonna find any impact going to first grade, so to the second you go. That's kind of how it went. But I'm so grateful that I didn't go to first grade because, I did not like those people.
In first grade?
Yeah.
I'm so intrigued by this that you like jumped a whole grade. Like, did you feel when you went into second grade, like to start off, that you had to be of a certain standard? Like, people around you were
No.
at the same standard?
No, I think the main reason why it felt really natural was because when I was going to school with my mom before actually going to school, I was already kind of spending time with those people from that grade, that specific grade. So it just felt really kind of natural, I guess, because they already knew who I was. I was just 1 year younger.
Okay. But they never looked at you that way. You were just one of them.
Yeah. No, exactly. And then, long story short, back to the point, 11th grade, I was dating 2 people at the same time. One was a girl. I feel sorry for her. She was lovely, though. So lovely. Great kisser as well. We probably kissed on every single bench in every single park.
Aww.
And just mauled each other's faces off
It's so cute.
during the day. And just imagine you are an adult. Let's say you're 30, whatever. You're walking, just minding your own business. And then on the side of the street, there's like 2 children on top of each other, mauling each other. Like, dude. But at the same time, I was also dating a guy.
Did she know about it?
No.
No? Okay.
No, obviously not.
You were like, we're poly. No.
Absolutely not. No. It also wasn't acceptable, you know. But yeah, he was, I think I was 15 or 16, and he was 24, I think.
Okay. Whoa. Okay.
Now
He
it's
was a
like
college student.
now it's like red flags. He was a chef, I think. I think he was a chef or a cook or whatever in some sort of a restaurant. And he was also doing capoeira. Do you know that dancey fighty?
Yeah, like spinning around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so cool to me. I thought, oh my God, somebody who actually does sports. It was rare in my family. We don't really
The
do
only thing we
sports.
ran to was the fridge.
Yeah. You know, the exercise is how many times can you open it in a row? But yeah, so I was dating him at nights or during the week, and then dating her on weekends because she was from a different city. So we kind of had to travel. Terrible. Wow, I feel so bad, but whatever. I was young, you know, didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And then the point of my first coming out was I still remember I had Siemens M35 mobile phone,
Okay. Taking it back.
or A35 even at that point, and just constantly texting. And I had this guy's name saved under like a girl's name on my phone,
Okay.
so that, you know, if I'm texting at school, nobody's gonna know.
Yeah.
They're just gonna be like, oh, Jake has a girlfriend. Well, technically,
Well, you did. Yeah.
yeah. And then I remember a few, maybe like a month or a few months later, I was sitting in biology class next to my best friend at that time, not the crazy one. But I was sitting next to her, and
We hope she's doing well. We really do hope she's doing well.
we really do. But
Yeah.
when I say crazy, I actually say like,
Bible basher.
yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was sitting next to my friend at school, and I just basically told her that, well, you know that girl that I have on my phone? It's actually a he. And then there was like a moment of silence in the middle of class, because I was like, I need to say it now so that she doesn't just walk away just in case, you know? And just whispered or wrote on like a piece of paper. I don't remember what it was, but you know when you sometimes write on tiny pieces of paper and then pass it on.
I had diaries. I had like copybooks sellotaped together with friends, and we wrote notes like this big. The books sellotaped together. Yeah.
So yeah, and then that's kind of my first time coming out.
So how did she react?
She was slightly awkward because, first of all, I went to Christian high school or Christian school, which is for people living in Ireland, like every single school is basically Christian.
Yeah.
Kinda, you know, like Catholic schools. In Latvia, there are 2 Christian schools.
Okay.
That's it. And when I say Christian school, it's like church every Monday, school mass every morning,
Yeah.
Bible studies, etc. You know. And yeah, it was slightly awkward, but she seemed very accepting, but like in an awkward way, as in like, okay, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just that feeling of, is that it? I was expecting you to either be angry, sad, disappointed or something, but just like,
Nonchalant.
yeah, nonchalant.
Nonchalante. Yeah, like that's I wonder, did that make it easier for you then to kind of carry on?
No, because
No?
no, there's a lot of hate, or at least there was a lot of hate during that time around gay people, and it was just like, you better not be, you better not stray from all of the traditions, regardless of what they are or how true or useless they are. You know, it's a very, very traditional country, I guess.
Okay, so that was what, you were 16 at that stage?
15 or 16.
And then, so like, what was your, so that was your disguise kind of going to school, was being with that girl. So when you kind of removed that from the disguise, how did that go?
I didn't. Because she was the only person I ever told. The only next person I ever came out to was my mom when I was 19, I think. And I had already been living with a roommate for like 5 months or so, sharing an apartment. Single bed, I mean.
Yeah.
And then...
It's just for the rent.
Yeah. And then I remember also... I was working in a mobile phone shop in Central Station, and my mom sometimes came to see me, just, you know, to say hi. And then we sometimes went for lunch to the soup restaurant, really lovely soups, and they had these really cute little buns, just with great seeds, perfectly roasted, just really nice. And I remember just stressing so much because I thought, you know what, I need to tell my mom. So yeah, I told her over soup that, you know, that guy that I'm sharing the apartment with, well, we're more than just friends. Just imagine this awkward conversation.
That's how you said you were gay? Yeah. We're more than friends. It was never, Mom, I'm gay. It was like never one of those like American kind of...
No.
Okay.
And then I remember her probably not talking to me, probably not intentionally. I think she was just processing for like a month or so.
But how often would you have talked before you told her? Most days?
Most days, yeah.
Yeah, so that probably would have been a shock to the system.
Yeah, and I also remember like a few days later, my godmother, my mom's sister, called me and she was like, I heard... I was like,
oh, you can't trust a Virgo. They're always going to tell somebody something.
Yeah. Now, I feel like everyone's kind of okay with it. I know that the main reason why I didn't want to tell others was because my mom's brother was... I don't remember the conversation exactly, but I remember him saying some really slurry things about gay people.
Okay.
Just like really demeaning and so on. And then I thought, okay, right, well...
You're not a safe person.
I adopted you like my godfather, like my own chosen godfather, but can't clearly trust you now, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you went through telling your kind of first girlfriend, then the next person was your mum. What about your dad?
Never told him.
To this day?
Nope.
He knows you're married.
Oh, yeah. No, he does. I never told him because...
This is my partner, Nolita.
At that point, I was kind of D-list celebrity in Latvia.
Yeah.
You know, traveling around with a band, like with a very popular band, aka like ABBA, but within Latvia. Yeah, exactly. So we were like ABBA teens, but we were called E-teens. And also, I didn't know any better. I just thought, you know, any publicity is good publicity. So I thought, well, how about I just write an article or give an interview to like a magazine about us.
Okay.
Multiple times.
To say like, hey, I'm Jake and I'm gay.
Yeah, basically.
Just so everybody knows.
So that's basically why I thought, you know, do I have to come out to my dad? Like,
He'll read it online. I love that.
Exactly.
He'll see the headlines.
He would have, like, he has a brother, only one brother, yeah. And I feel like his family probably would have just passed on the news, you know?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I just never felt the need.
Oh, that makes sense. So then you were in your kind of teenage years, or kind of more adulty years, I guess, and you're traveling around with the e-teens, and you didn't have to really pretend because you outed yourself fairly fast then.
I did, but you know, there's also that stage persona, and then there is the actual you.
Okay, what were they like?
They, first of all, my bandmates, so good, so understanding, so accepting, so just don't really care about it, as in, like, why does it matter, you know?
Yeah.
Relationship is a relationship. That was so refreshing, so nice. Also, my friend at that time from the band, she was just so open-minded, big drinking problems, but but so open-minded, so fun, so nice, you know, just so supportive about everything that just never felt awkward. But when you're on stage, you still, you know, if that person is next to you, my other half at that point, you still kind of don't show it. But the stage persona was more about, you've probably seen that persona also at work, especially when I'm giving presentations or anything like that, or I need to talk in front of people. It's just, it's a different vibe. You would be able to see now that this is kind of like a persona.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just comes so naturally, and it's automatic, essentially.
And it's like, it could be a form of protection, I guess, that you've known your whole life as well. Like, if you, for the e-teens, for, you know, acceptance into loads of different aspects of your life, like work. Yeah, but like, I suppose e-teens was work at the same time, right?
It was.
The cruise ships.
Yeah.
The performance piece. Yeah.
No, it was. It definitely was a lot of work. Then also, when we were traveling around with Aeolica, with e-teens, and then also there was this, you know, those, not X Factor, but it's like people are thrown in a room or like an apartment that they can't leave.
Oh, like reality shows, like Big Brother kind of vibe?
Kinda, but there were like singing reality shows.
Okay.
Where you just couldn't leave. I wasn't part of it, but we were also traveling around with winners or best performers from one of those reality shows.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. And I was also working, was I working in a shop still? I think I was still a shop manager at that time. Or was I already working on a cruise ship? I don't remember. I think I might have been working on a cruise ship already at that point, because I was 8 days on and then 8 days off.
Whoa.
And 12-hour days, right, on the cruise ship.
That's intense.
So whenever I was off, the manager always planned all of the concerts and everything around that time.
Wow.
So, you know, in 8 days you can do a lot. And then you just disappear for 8 days.
That's insane. Like, it's just, but I mean, we can do anything when we're in our 20s. We can work 2-3 jobs. We've both done it. But like, isn't it really, not even, I wouldn't even say isn't it funny, because it's not funny, but isn't it mad to think back to that time and think like, you would have been in a state of survival. You would have been just go, go, go in doing mode the whole time. And you would have had other things to help you keep going. Like you might have had drink. You might, you know, like it's crazy.
I don't know whether I ever suffered from doing. I still don't. And at this point, I don't know if that just is normal and I don't know any other way, or is it just not affecting me? Because you know me at work, I can do like 500 different things and work weekends if I have to, if I'm like obsessed about creating this new dashboard or learning SQL or whatever. Back then, I was kind of the same, either making websites, making design, traveling around with the band, working on a cruise ship. What else was I doing? Even before I was working in a shop, I would spend like endless nights creating automated PDFs. Back in the day, that was kind of cool.
Okay.
Or automating all of the spreadsheets without AI, just to make it super easy for me to like create contracts or whatever, you know, just throw stuff in and you don't need to like space through like a Word doc, you know? So yeah, and then drinking was, it wasn't from the overwhelm. It was from just being in front of people and constantly being surrounded by a lot of, help me find the word.
Energy.
Not energy. No, it's like, you know, loud noises and lights.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I suppose, like, at that stage, like, so, you know, obviously you have the ADHD diagnosis now, but, like, back then, yeah, you would have been just kind of pushing yourself through, and the alcohol will, not blur it out, but, like, quieten it down almost for you and your brain to kind of, for you to cope through all of that.
It just allows you to...
Just all the sensory stuff.
Like, exactly.
Yeah.
And then it also allows your brain to kind of shut up. And this was kind of like a problem for a little while, where I even had this drunk persona that everybody else called, what was it, Igor, I believe?
Igor.
Oh, my cousin hates Igor or Ivar, I don't remember. Hates that guy. But basically it's just, you know, when you drink too much and then you black out and you don't remember anything, but during that time
You're psycho.
instead of just like being like in a corner, you're an asshole, you're a dickhead to every single person, tell them exactly what you think, and then just have no remorse, no regrets, and then run away.
Okay. Yeah, I've had that one experience with you where we were both really, really drunk.
But that was running.
And you got up and ran off like in a burst of energy. And then my friends were like, he just kind of got up out of nowhere and just like took off.
But see, like that's the good part. That's just the running. That's not the oh my God, I've actually hated you my entire life and now I'm just telling you everything. Now that I think about it, I probably never had those thoughts about you. That's why I've never shared them.
Well, we've been really drunk with each other over the past couple of years, and that's never come up, so that's good.
When was the last time we actually got drunk? It was like a few years, no? We've healed.
Oh, God. Like, really badly drunk? Probably 2022?
When I put you in a taxi and sent you home?
Oh, Jesus, yeah. I think it was that.
I think so.
Yeah.
And before that, we went to this new cocktail place.
Oh, my God. And I talked to the bartender and was like, yeah, just fuck up my life.
Yep.
Yeah. And he did. He did, folks. Like 5-6 cocktails, I was gone, done.
But I still remember that whenever I know that there is somebody who is hurting, like you were hurting.
Oh,
at
I
that
was
time.
really hurting. Yeah.
Even though we were drinking the same amount, I never let myself go. I was always, I need to look after you. I need to make sure that, you know, you get home.
And then when you cry, I could take your eyelashes off.
I did that.
You did
I did that.
Oh, that's love. That's love. Yeah. That's a really, like, it's crazy that you know, you had already gone through your stages, I'd say, like that crazy stage that you seen me in. You'd already gone through all of that between Latvia and the UK, and then here. So like you had your stages. It was like probably watching somebody relive experiences that you were like, yo, I know what that feels like.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest reason, you know this, right? You don't. The biggest reason why I left Latvia was because I was cheated, I don't even know, 5 more times with the same person that I thought I really loved. And I just kind of gave up on Latvian men because not a single one that I had ever spoken to, gay, had never wanted to be monogamous.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough in the gay community when, you know, I do see a lot of that, a lot of open relationships, and, you know, it can work for some. You know, don't knock it till you try it, folks.
I have tried it. Didn't
So have
work.
I. It didn't work. It's like, but like it does work for some people. But I guess you just have to have boundaries, rules put in place for the safety of each individual in said relationship.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, that's tough.
I know I'm very selfish in a relationship. I want
All of
that
person.
one person to spend all of their attention on me. You know, the loving attention, right?
Oh yeah.
And I want to be able to give all of my loving attention
To them.
to that one person, because splitting it up is splitting it up. It's not like you get 100% and you get 100%. That's not how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you there. I definitely. And I think because I know the type of person that you are, you know, you give so much. You know, you're very nurturing, very caring, very loving, and you don't just give love in like one love language. You go into every single one of them. You're like, what does this person want in love? Okay, do it that way. And I don't even know whether it's like the little autistic side of you, but you're like, I'll create lists, I'll remember that. I know that person, I have like a log on that person, so I'll remember all these things, you know, patterns of things. Pattern recognition for you is like up there.
No, it is. But also, I do have a list for you, for example. All the gifts that you like, I have saved in
Can you send
under
that?
your contact.
Can you send that to my partner?
He should just be able to message me or
I love
talk
that.
to me.
Or we should hit them with that, you know. He should just know. If he wanted to, he would. I hate that line. Oh my God. Communication.
I mean, sure. It's all about paying attention.
Yeah. Like, how long are you in your relationship now? How many years now?
10?
So 10 years together, married
5, 6?
6 years?
I think 6, yeah.
Right? And how long do you think it took for you to, I suppose, learn each other's, you know, flows, communication, gifts, love languages, like all of it?
I think for me it was a little easier because, first of all, you know, I pay attention to all of the little things, either I want to or not.
Yeah.
It's not fun. But also, I am not one to immediately be, here I am, this is me, this is what I like. I'm like, let me
Guess.
test out the waters.
Guess.
Surprise me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not easy to live with. But I don't even know. Maybe like it took me 2 years or 3 years to get comfortable with no working nights.
Yeah, that's mad. Like, it's like I'm going to bed and you're not there. And then I'm getting up and you're going to bed. It's like,
Yeah. I enjoy it now.
oh yeah,
Only because
personal space.
Just personal space, peace, quiet. I don't wake up from snoring or whatever, you know. But it's just, yeah, it took a while, but can't say that it's a bad thing. Definitely has helped our relationship stay strong because we tried to spend the time that we have
Yeah.
together instead of just existing in the same space, you know?
And that's such an important kind of topic in itself there, the space piece, you know, because you see it in movies where it's like, I'm obsessed with you. I want to be in every nook and cranny of your life. I need to know every single thing all the time. And it's like, yeah, but like, what about when you need to go off and self-regulate? you know, your partner can piss you off. They can trigger stuff in you that you didn't even know existed. And you need time from them. And it's not like, I hate you, leave me alone. It's like, I love you, I just need to be alone.
Yeah.
And that can be hard, especially based like around your attachment style, like anxious attachment. If you're avoidant attachment of like you just keep pushing someone away, and then the other person, that's usually the dynamic as well. It's like anxious attachment and avoidant, and then one is always chasing and the other's like, no. It's intense.
Yeah, it is. I think in the last year or so, I've learned to, if I feel overwhelmed, irritated, or whatever on med break days, I would proactively communicate that.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, ugh, no, you know, don't. I can't deal with this.
Okay.
And just proactively communicate, maybe explain also why, like what's happening.
I'm just going to query on that one. Like, when you get into that space where you're like it's like overwhelm.
Overstimulated.
Like, yeah, it's overstimulation. Like, I'm overstimulated. Do you find it really difficult to actually say the words? Like, say how you're feeling in those moments.
Yeah.
Like, the thing that comes to you is, no, don't. And someone might be like, oh, what's wrong? No, I can't. You don't even want to get into it.
Yeah.
Does that happen for you?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's been a lot of work, and it's ongoing work, just to be able to very quickly understand you're upset for no reason. At least tell the person, try to put those words together.
So that they get
they
peace
know,
of mind as well. So it's not like you did something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's an interesting one. I mean, I say that because I'm nearly 3 years into a relationship with a cancer man, and he gets that.
I feel sorry for you.
It's okay. I love him. But yeah, I see that with him when he's overstimulated. He can't actually get the words, and I'm like, what? Like, are you okay? Like, do you want to talk about it? Psychotherapist version of me comes in, and this man is a psychotherapist, but he's just like, no, and I go into question mode because I want to understand. I want to have a picture painted so that there's an answer. Do you know? It's give an air sign, isn't it? Jesus Christ. My God.
But yeah,
yeah.
Go on.
I was going to say, so back to, I suppose, you know, I mean, we've talked about the stage pretending, the kind of the work mask that comes in, that pretending and stuff like that. What about the social side? So just with friends, like...
Friend is a very strong word for me.
I love that you made it singular. I said friends, plural.
I'll give you an example. When anybody else says, oh, go see your friends, or, you know, you're going to work to see your friends, I'm like...
Acquaintances.
It depends who we're talking about, of course. If it's just like general people, colleagues, or who I've worked with, and I just kind of, you know, you should see them because it's the nice thing to do. Don't try calling them friends. No, they're acquaintances. We might be close acquaintances, but not friends. Let's not go that far. Friend, for me, is somebody who you basically can fully trust. You know that they will never let you down. Unless they do, then you know, bye. But, you know, like, you feel comfortable around them. You don't have to pretend at all. You can... Funny thing. I don't think we're at that level. I don't think I'm at that level with anybody other than my cousin and Noel. But you can fart in front of each other, you know?
Okay. Yeah, so when it comes to farting, I'm the type of person to leave the room and do that. I have a thing around that.
But you also have a thing about pooping.
Yeah, there's a whole thing there. So I'm just like, no, you know. But yeah, I get what you're saying. That's like another It's like another level of, I don't want to say the word trust, because it's not that you don't trust the person, but it's like safety.
It's the comfort thing.
It's the safety, you know, I feel, yeah.
And I know I could, but I also know that I will wait for the other person.
So what you're telling me is, I'm going to wait till you fart, and then when you do, I'll feel fine and go, oh, well, she did it now. It's acceptable. Take the lead, Jen. Initiative.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to our listeners. Jesus Christ.
It's a shite talk, isn't it?
Typical shy talk, Ireland style. Yeah, okay. So, social pretending.
Yeah. Oh,
There's a lot in that, like, in the sense of, like, there's a lot of weight behind the word friend. I understand that. There's a lot of weight that you put into that term. And it could also be, you know, other words, like if you said, oh, I love somebody, you wouldn't just automatically turn around and be like, oh my God, I love you. Like,
yeah.
It would take so much for you to put the weight behind that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I feel that. So, I mean, I get that there's a persona that comes on when you're in social settings, like, but work specifically, definitely there's the persona that comes on, and it's just, you can see it, that wall goes up. Has anybody ever brought that to you? Any manager or anything?
no,
like
because
that?
they don't know anything else.
Yeah, they haven't seen the Xander the Xander Jake.
They've only seen the Xander.
Yeah.
They haven't seen, you know, the real Jake. Mm-hmm. And I would say whenever some have, right? Some have, but as soon as they see the actual Jake, then they're like, let me give you some feedback.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's why at work I can't be myself. Can't be myself because I know I'm blunt. I can say things,
And they're taken.
and they're taken out of context. They're taken like to heart. You know, I'm very grateful with the people that I work here in Ireland because everybody's super understanding.
Yeah.
Like that one time when we were in an offsite in the office and I was trying to explain something and I said, let me just dumb it down for you. I forgot how to say it like properly, you know, and everybody was fine. Like one person just commented, but I know that they were just trying to be helpful. But nobody thought of me saying it as like an insult to everybody.
Yeah. I get you.
Because sometimes words are hard.
So, I mean, I think it's safe to say, and for our listeners too, that, you know, there are certain masks that we wear. And like that, there's the work mask. And it's nothing to do with your sexuality. It's more so, I suppose, a sense of safety and also a little bit of that neurospicy energy as well, where we sometimes have, we can be very unfiltered. And it's learning, oh, okay, someone's going to take this wrong and then it's going to bite me. So I need to be very careful and calculated about how I say things, express things. I don't want to blurt out feedback. I have to sit and think about it before I say it. What kind of advice would you give to listeners around that, I suppose?
I want to say, if you can't be yourself, then maybe you're in the wrong place. I feel that wholeheartedly, but I am not following my own advice.
Baby gotta make bank.
Exactly, you know? So if you can't be yourself, maybe you're not in the right place. But also, not everybody has the luxury to make that decision.
Yeah.
What has worked for me, and it's not a suggestion that might work for everyone, right? What has worked for me is find the strengths that you have that others appreciate and play into them.
Yeah.
Because I might have many different strengths, but they're not relevant or appreciated at work. What I know is me being able to create sheets and
Simplify.
simplify, exactly, like make things more efficient, deliver quick and good results. those are my strengths that others appreciate, so I'm leaning into those more. Whereas, let's say if I'm gonna be trying to bring my management style to my manager meetings, how I manage my team, it's probably not going to be taken so well, but my team are genuinely angels because they actually, well, supposedly appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And I also tend to over-communicate things. Yeah. Whereas whenever you over-communicate things with somebody who doesn't appreciate them, they feel like you might be just, taking up space.
Yeah. It's gas that kind of came in. That came in for me today around the communication piece, because I would be the type of person, the type of manager that always asks people for feedback and says I'd like to say every month. Sometimes it's a little bit quicker than a month. I'll say, how do you feel like things are going? Is there anything in my, communication style or my manager style that you like, or anything you'd like to see differently? Is there anything that's worked before with other people that you'd like to let me know about? And most people kind of look like a deer in headlights when I catch them with that. They're like, what? No. And it's almost like they think I'm trying to catch them out with something. And I'm like, no, I'm just creating a space for you where you can give me, solicit feedback that, you don't ever feel like you can't talk to me and tell me where we're at. And one person recently today said, I love that you don't micromanage. I was like, yeah, well, I don't think anyone really, I don't want to say anybody doesn't like doing that or receiving that, but I've been in that space in previous jobs where I've been micromanaged, and it's not a nice feeling.
Yeah.
So I've always had that in my mind where I'm like, I don't want to be that person. And when I first started, I definitely had tendencies there that were like that, where I jumped straight to the negative and the judging, and then I went, oh, okay, actually, it's taken me a couple of years to step back and go, let's explore this with somebody, because I can be quite reactive. ADHD.
Yeah.
Love that. But yeah, there was another question that I had. What was the question? Oh, it was bringing it back to, so you've been in Ireland now, how many years? 12, 13? 30 years?
I think 11.
11 years?
I think 11
years? You've been here 11 years, and, Latvia is where you were born and bred. So when it comes to you having to go back there for, any kind of, I don't know, events or anything at all, or, even a holiday, and I know they are brief and sweet for you when it comes to that, because you're like, nope. What's that like, going over? Do you feel like you can be yourself, the version of you that is here now in Ireland? Or do you go back and you get, people calling you your dead name? Do you get stuff like that? Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Nobody calls me Jake.
Okay.
Nobody.
Everybody hits you up. They're like, that's your birth name, name day.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just no respect.
Okay.
But also...
So that's the first trigger.
I don't think it's a trigger. It's more like, well, I know you're not going to respect my choices, so whatever. But also come into that thought that you're not going to respect my choices, whatever, is technically pretending like everything's okay. I'm just letting it go because I don't want to feel upset about it.
You're push that down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not even push that down, because if I set myself to that mindset where whatever, you're just not modern enough, let's say, or you're not with the times or whatever, then it makes it easier to accept it.
When it comes to any kind of events, or when you're going home to see family, what do you think would be a trigger that comes in?
I think it's just the awkwardness. Because our family, they're nice and loving and all, but...
in their way. We've
always had this... I don't know, maybe it's just my perception. I don't think so, because there are other people who have said that as well. But it's that my family always tries to look better to others or outwardly than they actually are. Also... never having any issues. Problems don't exist. You know, let's just sweep it under the rug, and everybody else should just see how great we are.
That sounds exhausting. And then again, it's coming back to pretending everything is okay, pretending there's no issues.
Yeah, it also happens in like family events. No, it's not just outwardly. It's whenever it is more. So let's say if we're together, our problems would stay within us. That's it. Nobody else would ever know. They can't.
Okay. That kind of makes a lot of sense, though. If that's how you if that's what you grew up with, that's the energy that you grew up with of like pretending is fine, it's normal. Mm-hmm. Like, does that not kind of come into the basis of everything we've just talked about? Like,
No,
pretending
exactly.
is very easy. Whereas I'd imagine for someone that has to do that out of like survival or something like that, you know, and they don't really know what it is, but they're doing it out of like, oh, I can't come out, or I, you know, have to pretend something, it probably eventually kind of the wall comes down for them. But if it's kind of the basis of what you know, it makes it easier to maintain. Surely.
Yeah. No, exactly. It takes less brain power because it feels it's basically the only thing I know.
Those
right?
neural pathways are like, this is normal.
You know, it's when that's the only thing you know, you don't have to think about it. Everything else that's out of the norm feels different. And kind of you brought it back to coming out. I made it so that I don't have to come out to people by making my coming out public in like a magazine, you know, on TV, whatever.
Go big or go home.
Because I did not. I just protected myself by not having these individual conversations.
That's insane. I love it though.
It's a protection mechanism. And
Yeah.
then even coming out just by adding a rainbow emoji on your Instagram profile with, you know,
Yeah.
2 guys or 2 girls holding hands, that's also a public way of coming out. And then if people will notice, they will ask. The good ones won't.
When it comes to, I suppose, being out, being married in a loving marriage with a lovely person, pretending, I suppose, is still something that I'd say really, like, it's just a day-to-day thing for gay people, right? Is that you cannot just walk down the road holding your husband or your wife's hand, if it's 2 women, 2 men, whatever, and just kind of trust that there isn't going to be any retaliation in that. What would you say have been a few spaces that you've felt really, I suppose, safe to let yourself fully unmask and be like, this is who I am. I am a gay man. I'm happily married and I don't have to pretend anything. This is who I am.
Long pause. I don't know. I've always been very against PDA. Lol. Saying that about what I told you about making out on the street and everything.
I know, you've done a full, like, 180 there, like.
I
You got it out of your system young, like.
I just don't. I don't know. I think it's also a protection mechanism where I don't show PDA only because I don't want to be perceived.
As a gay man?
In general, just perceived.
But we can't control who perceives
I know.
us, right? It's such a protective mechanism. I've had this conversation with someone recently and their exact words were, I do not want to be perceived.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but like, people are going to think we are what we are. Like, you know, we have absolutely no control out of, like, anything outside of ourselves. We cannot control. I mean, we could try, and there can be some attempts to, you know, and some results in that. But when it comes down to it, yeah, that's so interesting because you are actually a very loving person. I'm disgraceful when it comes to PDA. I'm disgraceful. Like, I've had partners in the past even say to me, like, stop trying to kiss me, we're in Tesco. And I'm like, yeah, and? Like, but I grew up with affection. like, you know, all the time. And I suppose it's easier for me with that. Maybe, I don't know. I think I just have got to that point maybe in my life where I'm like, fuck what people think. Especially when it comes to love. Love is something that I like to show people in many different forms, like different ways. You know?
But on the flip side, I love when somebody else attempts public displays of affection. You know, I won't.
As in, like, leans in for like a hug with you?
Yeah. Or
It's the air sign.
kisses me or whatever, holds my hand, grabs my hand. I might not be able to initiate it because of my, I don't know, myself holding me back. But I will always, you know, reach back.
Embrace, accept it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where. But to answer your question, what's the safest place? I'd say Malta, and I think that's why I really like Malta.
Wow, I've never been to Malta.
That's probably my favorite holiday where I've ever been.
Is that like, I think I read something that it's like a really high gay community over there. Yeah.
Don't talk to me about community. I don't like communities.
That's another piece, I suppose, that you could even explore. It's the whole community of like going out for like to gay bars and things like that. And if something's a little too gay, you kind of get the ick. You're like, no, it's too much. Yeah.
Cancelled for this.
Said the gay man. Like, meh.
This could still be cancelled. Yeah, I think the reason I'm kind of not against community, but I had this conversation with two people just recently where I can understand why people are so for community because they have similar beliefs, they have similar interests, you know, similar issues that they're working through and so on. I don't resonate with the typical gay community. But then I was thinking about the autistic gay community. Looked into that a little more. And that looked way more interesting because, you know, I can't say we, but they do more deep dives, more like zoned into like one specific topic, like do proper research, you know, have these deep conversations. Whereas what I've noticed with the gay communities that I've been in the proximity of, I'm trying to be so careful not to get cancelled here. It's always about either body image, very external validating factors, very like just this is a certain way how I need to be to even be accepted.
Okay.
And that just always struggling with my personal body image. That's just not the place where I want to be, you know?
It's probably, there's so much in that though, right? That's juicy. It's like, you've been in that place though, right? For a very long time where everything was about the way that you looked, the weight that you were, how you were being perceived, were you like getting the validation. And this is something that I learned there a while ago with college, first year finished. Woo! It's the locus of evaluation, right? So you've got an internal one, which is all you. It's like, I'm enough, I am worthy, I am beautiful, I am whatever. And then there's the external where it's like, if you tell me I'm beautiful because you believe it. So I believe what you believe. And it's always looking for that validation. You know, do I look okay today? Yeah, no, you look okay. Just okay. Like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
You hang on that. So I get that. And I suppose because you've shifted from that external evaluation, like, you know, where you're looking like the validation piece, you've moved from that, and the work you've done on yourself over the years has brought you to that internal place of I'm enough as I am. So maybe it like gives you the ick now to be reminded of that space, or it's just kind of like, oh, I'm just not there. It's not it.
It's more about, for me, and again, this is the definition of how I see the word community. Community to me are like-minded people that can uplift one another, that can, help guide you through whatever struggles you're currently going through because they have already done it, or, something like that. It has a very, very deep meaning to me. And that's the main reason why I can't just say, oh, part of the whatever community.
It doesn't feel
Also-
authentic to say it.
Yeah, also saying being part of a community means that I'm actively participating, that I'm also giving back, that I'm also, helping other people. And I'm not, I'm not
You're not there.
Mother Teresa, essentially, I'm not going around and helping people. I will help the ones that I love, and I do. I will give everything that I can. But for strangers, I don't know, there's just that wall. There's, again, that wall, like, I don't know whether I can trust you. And so I don't know if I want to, what are you going to do? Because, and this is, I don't know, childhood, family trauma, whatever. There's witchcraft and stuff, like people putting curses on you, hexes, black eyes, whatever, dark eyes or whatever they're called. All of those things were so popular. And I have a cross tattoo on my chest to protect against any like hexes or anything like that. Evil eyes, And I had like an evil eye removed, and oh my god, like the thing is, I don't know if you believe it, if anybody believes it, but
it's my vibe.
There was a very, very long streak of just like extremely negative things happening in my life. Like everything was just not going my way. Whatever was happening, nothing was going my way. And that started recently after becoming part of the band.
Okay.
So I was talking to another musician, and she said basically, oh yeah, I know this, not witch, it's like a different word, healer, basically. Maybe you should give her a call, maybe she can remove the evil eye or whatever's happening. So I did, and it was so bizarre. I was basically sitting in a room, and she was lighting, I had to buy church candles, those long ones, skinny ones. And she was lighting those candles, and as soon as she moved the candle closer to me, I know that I bought that candle. The candle started it went off like a firecracker.
Yeah.
Or like a sparkler, that's the word.
Yeah.
And she moved back, and it was just fine. And then she did that for like 30 minutes with multiple different candles, and I could just hear, the sparkling all over me, and eventually it just stopped, and it was the same candle, or, multiple. Nothing changed, but it just wasn't sparkling. And after that, I felt so exhausted for like a week or so, just no energy whatsoever. And then after that week, it just felt like a weight had lifted, and things started to fall into place.
I kind of love that. You know me, I go down so many rabbit holes over the years. The amount of like psychics and all the witchy stuff. I love all that.
Why was I talking about that?
It's given ADHD brain, isn't it? We digress. We
We were talking about something, community and stuff, and then we
and you just
ended
went
here.
down the rabbit hole of witching. But
There
I
was a
love that.
point.
I love it though. I really do. I suppose a lot around Unmasking, a lot around safety, community, and what that means to you. And that makes sense. That does make sense. I don't feel like I could actually sit down and say I'm a part of blah 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 community. It's too final.
Yeah, I think that's the exact feeling that
Yeah.
I want to share as well.
Yeah.
Just deciding that you're part of something feels like that you need to be so sure about it.
Yeah. It's kind of heavy. There's a weight there. You're like,
And it's just that black and white thinking.
And you know me, I love to go into the grey.
It's called Grey's Anatomy. Now.
I think we've covered most of the bits. I'm trying to think, was there something else? I feel like there was something else I had in my mind that I wanted to lean in on.
Well, we can always come back to it. Follow us on socials. JJ Unplugged or JJ Unplugged Show on most socials.
You need to change to Unmasked.
Well, it is unhinged slightly, so Unplugged just felt the right
here's
thing.
a question. I kind of like this one. Is there a polite way to call out pretend behaviours in others?
I don't think there's a wrong way. Well, maybe. Stop being a little whatever. Bad word. But a polite way would be, what do you really think about it?
I like that. Yeah. That's therapist mode, though.
Right? If somebody's like putting on this facade and they're saying, I've done this in some of my one-on-ones, and I've unfortunately have to do it every now and again. But whenever I see, like, I can see that someone's upset, especially if I know that person and I know how they look normally.
Yeah.
I will immediately know when something's not right.
Okay.
And I will always just ask how they are. And then if they just give me like a
Meh.
answer that doesn't really answer anything, I will say, no, but like before we jump into work stuff, how are you really?
That's given therapist. Right
I
there.
love that though, because
You okay?
I want
Yeah.
to know. I
Yeah.
want to know, especially when someone's on my team and if someone's going through stuff, at least the least I can do is listen.
Something that I like to say is, I'm just going to take my manager hat off for a minute. So just like person to person. Like, I'm just a person right now in front of you. How are you? Like, are you okay? Is there anything, I can help with? I like that approach because it really depends on the rapport that you have with people too. Some people are very, very closed off. And for a good reason, right? They might have been burned by other managers or just life. But I like that, yeah. How are you really, though?
Yeah. No, but like
You're
seriously.
opening yourself up for like 30 plus minutes of
But
trauma.
that's fine. I will extend those one-on-ones. I will.
So when are you going to go back and get your degree as a psychotherapist and join me in this journey?
Psycho the rapist. I don't know. What were we talking about? What's our current goal?
Life coaching.
Life coach.
I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that one. I feel like it dips into so many different methods anyway. Do you know? Like when I was going to leave school initially, I wanted to study psychology, and then something around guidance counselling came in, and I was like, that's a great thing. Like, I'd love that. But yeah, I think the life coaching one would be interesting for us to delve into because we're kind of in that same space when it comes to our manager style. You know?
I think so. No, that seems really interesting. 31 hours left. Haven't started. So I signed up today.
Did you do?
31 hours of training left.
Anything else we want to delve into?
I think there's enough here. I feel so interrogated. But in
an uncomfortable way. Do we want to maybe close it off with do you know what? I was looking up grounding affirmations here and I found this one. I thought this was good. One of them really sat with me, as in me, the person. I am centered, even in chaos. Which makes sense, but I actually prefer this one. I am rooted like a tree, steady and calm. With each breath, I return to myself. I trust the ground beneath me to hold me, and I release what I cannot control. I am safe, I am present, I am whole.
And I'm a whole. And that's where we're going to finish. Hope you had a lovely time. Hope you enjoyed this.
Thank you for joining us. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Au revoir.